If you're over 60 and your closet attacks you every time you open it, you're not alone. The Reset Granny helped clear entire homes in 48 hours using old-school tricks that actually work. Hit subscribe if you're ready to breathe easier in your own home. In this video, you'll learn 7 old-school decluttering tricks that actually work. No fancy systems, no expensive bins, just simple methods that clear rooms fast. You'll discover the touch-once rule that saves hours, the 4-box method Granny's mother used during the Depression, and the future self-question that makes letting go feel natural instead of painful. These aren't trendy organizing hacks. They're proven techniques our grandmothers swore by for keeping homes peaceful and clutter-free. Let's be honest, you didn't plan for your home to feel this way. It happened gradually. Birthday cards you meant to display, clothes that might fit again someday, kitchen gadgets from late-night shopping that promised to change your life. You walk past that spare bedroom and close the door quickly. You tell yourself you'll tackle it next week, next month, after the holidays. But deep down, the weight of all that stuff is exhausting. It's not just physical clutter, it's mental clutter too. And here's what nobody talks about. At our age, we've accumulated decades of belongings tied to memories, people we've loved, versions of ourselves we used to be. Letting go feels like losing those moments. Experts say seniors face unique decluttering challenges because our items carry emotional weight. But Granny's been saying it for decades. The stuff isn't the memory lives in you. Let me tell you about my neighbour, Lorraine. She's 67, widowed 3 years ago, living in the same house she raised her kids in. Every room held something: her late husband's fishing gear, her daughter's old art projects, china sets from relatives who passed on. She called me one Saturday morning, voice shaking, saying she couldn't take it anymore. She felt trapped in her own home. We had 48 hours before her grandkids visited, and she wanted them to see a grandmother moving forward, not stuck in the past. I showed up with garbage bags, boxes, and the 7 tricks I'm sharing with you today. By Sunday evening, Lorraine stood in her living room, lighter, brighter, breathing deeper than she had in years. She didn't lose her memories. She freed herself to make new ones. The transformation wasn't just in her home, it was in her. Let's start with the foundation, the 4-box method. This is the system Granny's mother used during the Depression, and nearly a century later, it's still the smartest decluttering approach there is. Grab 4 boxes, bags or bins and label them clearly. Keep, donate, trash, and decide later. That's it, simple but powerful. Now pick one room, just one. Don't try to tackle the whole house, start small. Maybe it's your bedroom, maybe it's that hallway closet that's been haunting you. Wherever you start, commit to finishing that space. Here's the method. Work left to right, just like you're reading a book. This keeps you focused and prevents you from bouncing around the room getting nowhere. Touch every single item once, and only once. Pick it up, make a decision, put it in a box. No setting things aside to think about later. That's the old pattern that got you here. The decide later box is your safety net. It's there for those items that genuinely need more thought. Maybe you need to ask your daughter if she wants that quilt, or you're not sure if those tools still work. That's okay, but here's the non-negotiable rule. That box gets revisited in exactly 30 days. Set a reminder on your phone right now. When those 30 days are up, if you haven't thought about what's in that box, if you haven't missed a single thing inside it, everything goes to donate. No exceptions, because here's the truth. If it didn't cross your mind in a whole month, it's not serving your life. This method works because it removes the overwhelm. You're not making 100 decisions at once. You're making one decision per item, in order, with clear categories. It's methodical, it's manageable, and most importantly, it gets results. Granny's seen people clear entire bedrooms in 3 hours using this method. Not because they rushed, but because they finally had a system that worked with their brain, not against it. The 4 boxes give you permission to let go without guilt, keep what matters without shame, and pause when you genuinely need to. Start today. 4 boxes, 1 room, left to right. You'll be amazed at how much lighter you feel by the end of the day. This isn't just decluttering, it's taking back control of your space, one decision at a time. Now let me share the game changer that cuts your decluttering time in half, the touch once rule. This single principle is why some people can clear a room in hours, while others spend weeks getting nowhere. Here's the rule. When you pick something up, make a decision right then and there. No putting it down to think about it later. No creating a maybe pile that just becomes another form of clutter. You touch it once, you decide once, you move on. I know what you're thinking. But what if I make the wrong choice? Here's the truth Granny learned over decades. The anxiety of indecision is harder on you than any item you might let go. That sweater you've been thinking about for 3 years. The stress of seeing it every day and wondering what to do with it is costing you more peace than the sweater is worth. So how do you make quick, confident decisions? Ask yourself these 3 powerful questions. First, have I used this in the past year? Not, might I use it someday? Not, I used to love this. Have you actually used it in the last 12 months? Be brutally honest. If you haven't reached for it in a full year of seasons, holidays, and occasions, you won't miss it. Second, does it serve my life right now? Not the life you had 10 years ago, not the life you wish you had, but the life you're actually living today. Does this item support who you are now and how you spend your days? If it doesn't fit your current reality, it's taking up space that could be filled with peace. Third, would I buy this again today? This question is brilliant because it removes nostalgia and obligation from the equation. If you saw this exact item in a store right now, would you spend your money on it? Would you choose to bring it into your home? If the answer is no, why are you letting it stay? If the answer to all 3 questions is no, it goes. No guilt, no second guessing, no, but it was expensive, or but so-and-so gave it to me. Those are stories we tell ourselves to avoid the freedom of letting go. The touch once rule works because it eliminates the exhausting cycle of handling the same items over and over. Every time you pick something up, look at it, put it down, and walk away. You're spending energy without making progress. You're stuck in decision limbo, and that's where clutter lives and thrives. Think about it this way. Every item you decide later on is a tiny weight you carry in your mind. Multiply that by hundreds of items, and suddenly you understand why your home feels so heavy. The touch. Once rule lifts that weight immediately. Start practicing this today. Pick up an item, ask the 3 questions, make the decision, put it in the right box, move on. You'll be shocked at how much momentum you build and how much lighter you feel with each choice. Let's talk about the hardest part of decluttering: the sentimental items, the birthday cards, the letters, the children's artwork, the greeting cards from people who've passed on. These are the things that stop us in our tracks and make us feel guilty for even considering letting them go. Our grandmothers had a clever trick for this, and it's called the newspaper test. Here's how it works. Take all those papers, cards, and letters out of their boxes and drawers. Lay them out on your dining table or bed like you're reading the newspaper. Spread them out so you can see everything at once. Now walk around the table slowly. Look at each item with fresh eyes. Read the cards. Look at the drawings. Touch the papers. And here's the key question. Which ones truly move you when you see them again? Which ones make you smile, bring tears to your eyes, or fill your heart with genuine warmth? Those are the keepers. Pick them up and set them aside in a special place. But here's the honest truth. Most people won't tell you. You don't need every single card your children ever gave you. You don't need every letter, every note, every scrap of paper with a memory attached. What you need are the ones that still speak to your heart today. Granny's rule. Keep the 5 most meaningful from each person or occasion. 5 birthday cards from your daughter that capture different stages of life. 5 letters from your late husband that remind you of his love. 5 pieces of your grandchildren's artwork that make you genuinely smile. 5 is enough to honor the memory. 5 is enough to revisit the love. 5 lets you keep what matters without drowning in paper. Now what about the rest? This is where people get stuck. They think letting go of the card means letting go of the love, letting go of the memory, letting go of the person. But that's not true. The love doesn't live in the paper. It lives in you. The memory isn't in the card. It's in your heart. If you're really struggling, here's what you can do. Take photos of the items before you let them go. Snap a picture of every card, every letter, every drawing. Create a digital album. That way, if you ever want to revisit them, they're there. But they're not taking up physical space in your home, and more importantly, they're not taking up mental space in your mind. Then, with gratitude and respect, let the papers go. Recycle them, or if they feel too personal for that, you can even have a small ritual. Read them one last time, say thank you for the joy they brought, and release them. This isn't about being cold or ungrateful. It's about understanding that the people who loved you didn't give you those cards so you'd feel burdened by them 30 years later. They gave them to bring you joy in the moment. You've received that joy. The card has served its purpose. Your home should hold your present and your future, not be a museum to your past. Keep what moves you. Let go of what weighs you down. Now let's tackle your closet, because I know what's happening in there. You've got clothes you haven't worn in years, but you keep them because maybe I'll wear it someday, or it might fit again, or I spent good money on that. Meanwhile, you wear the same 10 outfits on rotation and feel guilty every time you open that closet door. Here's a trick that's so simple, you'll wonder why you never thought of it. The hanger flip trick. And the beauty of this method is that you don't have to make any hard decisions today. Your own behavior over the next few months will show you the truth. Here's what you do. Go to your closet right now and turn all your hangers backward, every single one. Flip them so the hook faces you instead of facing the back of the closet. It takes 5 minutes and it's going to change everything. Now, starting today, every time you wear something, when you hang it back up, turn that hanger the normal way, hook facing the back of the closet. Just that one hanger. Just the items you actually wear. Set a reminder on your phone for 3 months from today. When those 3 months are up, go back to your closet and look. Any hanger that's still backward, you haven't worn that item in a full season. Not once. Through holidays, weather changes, different occasions, you never reached for it. That's your answer. Those clothes need to go. Time to donate them. This trick is so powerful because it removes all the guesswork and guilt. You're not trying to remember what you wore last spring. You're not estimating whether something still fits. You're not making emotional decisions based on how much you paid for something 10 years ago. You're looking at cold, hard evidence of your actual behavior. And here's what makes this gentle. You're giving yourself 3 full months. That's plenty of time to wear something if you really love it. If you don't reach for it in 3 months, you're never going to wear it. You just don't love it enough, and that's okay. When you finally clear out those unworn clothes, something magical happens. Getting dressed becomes easier. You can see what you have. Everything in your closet becomes something you actually like and wear. No more digging past the things you don't wear to find the things you do. Here's the trick that keeps clutter from ever building back up once you've done the hard work of clearing it, the one in, one out rule. This is your maintenance system, your protection against sliding back into overwhelm. The rule is beautifully simple. From this day forward, every time something new comes into your home, something old goes out. 1 item in, 1 item out. No exceptions. You buy a new sweater. 1 old sweater gets donated before the new one comes through the door. You get a new book. 1 book you've already read goes to the library donation box. Someone gives you a decorative pillow. 1 of your current pillows finds a new home. This works because it forces you to be intentional about what you bring into your space. No more impulse purchases. No more, but it was on sale. No more accepting every gift out of obligation without thinking about where it will go and what it will replace. It makes you ask the real question: do I love this new item enough to let go of something I already have? If the answer is no, you probably don't need the new item. Let me tell you why this matters so much at our age. We've spent decades accumulating. We've built our homes, raised our families, collected memories and possessions along the way. We've already got everything we need. The idea that we need more is just marketing and habit, not truth. The 1 in, 1 out rule helps you shift from an accumulation mindset to a curation mindset. You're no longer collecting, you're curating. You're choosing quality over quantity. You're keeping only what serves your life right now. And here's what's beautiful about this. It works for everything. Clothes, books, kitchen gadgets, decorations, toiletries, craft supplies, even paperwork. If something new comes in, something old goes out. Now I can hear some of you thinking, but what if I need both? Then ask yourself, why didn't I need the new one until now? If what you had was working fine, why are you replacing it? Often, we're replacing things not because they stopped working, but because we saw something shinier. That's not need, that's want. And at this stage of life, Granny says, distinguish carefully between the two. There are reasonable exceptions, of course. If your winter coat falls apart and you need a new one, you're not replacing a working coat, you're replacing a broken one. That's fine. The old one goes to trash or textile recycling, the new one comes in. The balance is maintained. But for most purchases, the decorative items, the extra clothes, the kitchen gadgets, the books, the hobby supplies, the 1 in, 1 out rule keeps your home in balance. Now let me give you a trick that's perfect for maintenance and momentum, the 12-12-12 challenge. This is your weekly reset, your quick refresh, your way to keep clutter from sneaking back into your life 15 minutes at a time. Here's how it works. Once a week, set aside just 15 minutes. Set a timer if it helps. Then find 12 items to throw away, 12 items to donate, and 12 items to return to their proper place. That's it. 12, 12, and 12. In just 15 minutes, you've dealt with 36 items. Do this every week, and by the end of the year, you've cleared nearly 2,000 items from your home without ever feeling overwhelmed. That's the power of small, consistent action. Let's break down each category, because there's wisdom in how this is structured. 12 items to throw away. These are the obvious candidates. Expired medications, old magazines you're never going to read, dried up pens, worn out socks, broken items you've been meaning to fix for 6 months, junk mail, receipts you no longer need, food containers with missing lids. We all have these things hiding in our drawers and cabinets. Finding 12 takes no time at all once you start looking. The beauty here is that throwing things away is the easiest decision. There's no guilt, no but someone else could use this. It's trash. It needs to go. Starting with this category builds momentum and confidence. 12 items to donate. These are the things that are perfectly good, but you don't use them or need them anymore. The serving bowl you haven't used in 3 years. The books you've read and won't read again. The clothes that don't fit or don't match your style anymore. The duplicate kitchen tools. The decorations you're tired of looking at. Someone else will love these things. They'll get a second life. And your home will get lighter. This is where you practice generosity and letting go. 12 items to return to their proper place. This is the category people skip, but it's crucial. These aren't things to throw away or donate. These are things that belong in your home, but they've wandered. The scissors that somehow ended up in the bathroom. The book that's been sitting on the coffee table for 3 weeks. The shoes by the front door that belong in your closet. The coffee mug you left in the bedroom. When things don't have a home, or when they're not in their home, your space feels chaotic, even if it's not particularly cluttered. Returning things to their proper place creates visual calm and functional order. Here's why the 12-12-12 challenge is so effective. It's small enough that you can't make excuses. 15 minutes, 36 items. Anyone can do this. You can do this on a Saturday morning. You can do this during commercial breaks. You can do this before bed. It's concrete and measurable. You're not vaguely tidying up. You have a specific goal. Find 12 of each. This gives you focus and a clear endpoint. It creates momentum. Once you start moving and making decisions, it gets easier. The first few items might require thought, but by the time you're finding number 10, you're on a roll. Now we've reached the final trick, and honestly, this is the one that changes everything. It's not about boxes or hangers or rules. It's about a shift in how you think, and once you make this shift, letting go becomes natural instead of painful. It's called the future self question, and here's how it works. Before you decide to keep something out of guilt, obligation, or nostalgia, ask yourself this: will my future self, the one who's lighter, freer, and more at peace, thank me for keeping this? Not your past self, not the person you used to be, not the version of you who bought this item or received this gift. Your future self, the person you're becoming, the you who's on the other side of this decluttering journey. This question is powerful because it shifts your perspective from backward-looking to forward-looking. So much of clutter is about the past, who we used to be, what we used to do, how we used to look, the life we used to live. We hold on to things because they represent chapters that have closed, and letting go feels like erasing those chapters. But here's what Granny knows. Keeping the stuff doesn't keep the chapter alive. The chapter is already over. The memories exist in you, not in the objects. And more importantly, holding on to the past prevents you from fully stepping into your present and future. When you ask the future self question, you're making a choice about who you want to be, not who you were. You're choosing the life you want to live now, not the life you lived 20 years ago. Let me give you some examples of how this works in practice. You're holding a dress you wore to your daughter's wedding 15 years ago. It's beautiful. It holds precious memories. But you haven't worn it since, and you never will again. Your past self loved that dress. But will your future self, the one who wants a simplified closet where everything fits and everything gets worn, thank you for keeping it? Probably not. Take a photo, honor the memory, and let the dress find someone else who will wear it to their special occasion. You're looking at a stack of professional books from your career. You're retired now. You'll never reference these books again. Your past self needed them. They represent your accomplishments and expertise. But will your future self, the one who wants a peaceful home office or a reading nook. Thank you for keeping shelves of books you'll never open. Take a photo of the spines if you want proof you owned them, then donate them to someone still building their career. You're holding on to your adult children's baby clothes, thinking maybe you'll give them to your grandchildren. But your grandchildren already have clothes. Your children have told you they don't want them. Your past self needed to save everything for the next generation. But will your future self, the one who wants to use that storage space for things you actually need now, thank you for keeping bins of clothes no one wants? Let them go to a charity where they'll actually be used. You see how this works? The question cuts through all the emotional fog and gets to the truth. Keeping this item is about the past. Letting it go is about your future. But here's what most people don't realize. Decluttering at our age isn't really about the stuff. It's about reclaiming your energy, your peace, your ability to enjoy the time you have left without feeling buried under decades of belongings. In 2025, more seniors are embracing minimalism, but our grandmothers already knew this wisdom. They lived through the Depression, through wars, through times when you kept only what truly mattered. They understood something profound. A clear space creates a clear mind. A peaceful home creates a peaceful heart. The real secret Granny wants you to know: you're not getting rid of memories when you declutter. You're making room for joy. You're making room for new experiences, for grandchildren to visit comfortably, for hobbies you've been putting off, for simply breathing easier in your own home. Every item you release is a choice to live lighter. And that choice? That's the reset. That's freedom. Remember Lorraine? 3 months later, she called again, but this time her voice was lighter, confident. She'd started hosting Sunday dinners. She turned the spare room into a reading nook. She even began volunteering at the library, something she'd always wanted to do, but felt too busy for. She told me, "I didn't realize how much space I was giving to things that didn't love me back." Granny's lesson. The reset isn't about perfection. It's about making space for the life you still want to live. Remember, your home should feel like a hug, not a burden. You don't need to clear everything in 48 hours. Start with one box, one room, one decision at a time. If this video helped, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend who needs their own reset.